Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take a really comprehensive look at a stack of sources.
Hmm.
And today, our source is a remarkably detailed institutional guidebook.
Right.
And we transform it into the kind of knowledge that gives you a genuine shortcut to, well, to being really well informed.
Mm.
Today, we're not tackling global markets or advanced physics. We're looking at something, I think, deeply personal and profoundly beneficial.
We really are.
The holistic structure of lifelong martial arts training.
And this is such a fascinating mission for us because we get to analyze martial arts not just as a sport or, a hobby,
Right.
but as a framework for managing modern life. It addresses everything from childhood developmental milestones all the way to adult stress and physical maintenance.
And our source for this is, you said, it's the program summary and philosophical guidebook for a place called Centerpoint Martial Arts up in Falmouth, Maine.
That's the one.
So our mission today is really laser focused. We want to understand the multidimensional benefits of incorporating this kind of training into a person's life.
Yeah.
But maybe more importantly, we're looking at how a truly effective Center One that claims to be a tool for lifelong learning, how it custom tailors its approach for these vastly different age demographics.
That's the key question.
I mean, how does the curriculum shift its emphasis so dramatically for a pre-K student versus, say, a 45-year-old professional?
Precisely. And the core insight we can pull from these sources is that the techniques themselves, they're the vehicle, But destination, that changes completely depending on the age of the student.
Okay, so for children, the objective is what?
It's foundational character development, things like focus, discipline, emotional regulation.
And for adults?
For adults, the goals pivot. They become about fitness, stress inoculation, and just practical self-preservation.
So this means if you, the listener, are trying to figure out if martial arts is a worthy long-term investment for yourself or your family,
Yeah.
or if you just want a really thorough understanding of what philosophical and operational pillars define an excellent program, you are in the perfect place.
Absolutely. We're going to use this center's blueprint as a case study for building inner strength across the entire human lifespan.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The moment you start analyzing any long-term institution, you have to start with its leadership, its foundational philosophy.
You have to.
Because the effectiveness of the training, especially something as deeply personal as martial arts, it's directly tied to the vision that's guiding it.
Mm-hmm.
And the sources make it really clear that the center is led by someone named Andy, who brings over 3 decades of, well, exceptionally diverse martial arts experience.
And that experience level, 30 plus years, that's significant on its own.
Of course.
But what stands out even more is the sheer breadth of his background. This isn't a single style specialist.
No.
The sources explicitly detail a blend of 4 distinct, and I would say sometimes seemingly contradictory, disciplines that form the school's whole approach.
Okay, let's unpack that blend, because that feels like where the philosophical depth really starts to reveal itself.
Always.
So first we have traditional karate.
Right. Known for its rigorous structure, powerful striking.
Then we jump straight to Krav Maga.
Which is the modern no-frills Israeli system.
Yeah.
It's focused purely on immediate, efficient self-defense.
Life-threatening scenarios.
Exactly.
And then the blend gets, as you said, really eclectic. We have Sistema.
The Russian martial art. That one often emphasizes, continuous, relaxed movement, a lot of breath work, and non-telegraphic defense.
Sort of an internal art, then.
Yeah, it's often viewed that way,
Yeah.
focused on wellness and endurance. And then finally, you have the ancient Chinese art of Tai Chi.
Which is, that's the purest form of internal focus, right?
Yeah.
Energy cultivation, that extremely slow, precise movement.
It is.
So that blend, it sounds potentially risky. How does blending the intense realism and, let's be honest, aggression of Krav Maga with the deep spiritual, almost meditative focus of Tai Chi, how does that avoid creating a contradictory, just a confusing curriculum for the student?
That's the right question to ask.
Wouldn't a student feel completely torn between aggression and relaxation?
You think so, but that tension is actually the brilliance of the system.
Okay.
And it speaks directly to the center's mission of resilience. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the blend ensures that the student is developed on all axes: physical structure, mental preparedness, immediate practicality, and long-term health.
So break that down. Where does karate fit in?
Karate provides the necessary foundation of discipline and physical power.
Okay.
It gives you the structured forms, the dojo etiquette, and the conditioning you need to commit deeply.
So karate is the necessary, the hard structure baseline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then Krav Maga layers on top of that the necessary practicality and stress inoculation. You learn what works immediately when your adrenaline spikes. It just strips away all the ritual and focuses on survival skills you can apply in these unpredictable, real-world stress scenarios.
Which is a direct benefit for modern individuals who, I mean, we often feel overwhelmed by uncertainty.
Completely.
So what about the internal arts? Sistema and Tai Chi. They seem designed specifically to counteract the high-intensity stress that the other two introduce.
They do, but they're also deeply functional. Sistema teaches you fluidity and non-tension.
And why is that so important?
Well, in any conflict, whether it's physical or, professional, tension is the enemy of efficiency.
Right, you freeze up.
You freeze up. Systema training focuses on breath control and relaxed movement, which ensures that when that Krav Maga scenario happens, your body isn't frozen by fear or stiffness.
Ah, so there's a synergy.
A profound synergy. The relaxation from Systema actually enhances the speed and decisiveness that Krav Maga requires because you're not fighting yourself.
That's a crucial insight. It's not just a collection of styles. It's an integrated system where one discipline mitigates the weaknesses of another.
Precisely.
And Tai Chi then becomes the ultimate anchor for what? Long-term psychological and physical well-being.
Absolutely. For the adult audience especially, Tai Chi's benefit isn't just some vague internal focus. It's about highly specific physical outcomes.
Like what?
Balance, joint mobility, focused attention through those slow, precise movements, and postural alignment.
So it's the recovery system.
It's the physical and mental recovery system built right into the curriculum. It ensures that the conditioning you get from karate or BJJ can be maintained for decades, preventing burnout and injury.
So that mission statement, blending traditional martial arts principles with modern teaching methods, is really achieved through this calculated fusion.
Yes. It's not just a slogan.
This leads us directly to the center's guiding symbol, which immediately seems to telegraph this deep philosophical intent. The "and-so." For our listeners who might only have a glancing familiarity with it, how does that simple, often incomplete circle relate to all of this complex physical training?
Well, the "and-so" is a concept that's strongly tied to Zen practice. It literally means circle.
Okay.
It's often drawn in a single, spontaneous brushstroke to represent a moment of free, unburdened creation. The symbol stands for mindfulness, creativity, and enlightenment.
But to integrate it into martial arts, I mean, it must be more than just an abstract concept. It has to be a physical state, right?
It has to be, and that's the key.
So how does mindfulness translate onto the dojo floor?
It translates as absolute presence. When you're drawing in, so you can't hesitate or correct it. The movement has to be perfect in its imperfection.
Okay.
In martial arts, this means you are training your mind to stop that persistent internal monologue, the what-ifs and the should-haves.
A grocery list.
The grocery list, exactly. You can't afford to think about that when you're practicing a complex form or in a grappling exchange. That physical necessity for presence is the training mechanism for mindfulness.
I find the inclusion of creativity in the symbol particularly interesting. How does a highly structured, sometimes rigid practice like martial arts actually foster creativity?
Creativity comes from mastery under pressure. The structure of karate teaches you the rules, the fundamental movements. Krav Maga gives you the practical constraints of reality.
Okay.
But when you're faced with an unexpected scenario sparring or a real-life threat, you have to spontaneously synthesize those rules into a novel solution. That spontaneous, unscripted application of learned principles, that's where true creativity lies. It requires the empty mind, the unseat to act without intellectual delay.
That realization immediately positions this school's focus as, well, psychological and about self-mastery, well above just mere physical training, so pursuit of a higher cognitive and emotional state.
And that's a direct benefit for managing the exact problem our listeners often face: information overload and mental fragmentation.
Right.
The training, guided by this Unsho philosophy, requires absolute focus. That focus is a muscle you train. And the Ensha serves as a constant philosophical reminder of that need for inner alignment.
Okay, so let's just summarize the overarching mission pillars we've identified in the sources here.
Let's do it.
Martial arts is presented as a personal and a community-centered journey. The focus is on resilience and inner strength. And finally, a commitment to lifelong learning. And these pillars aren't abstract. They're the direct applications of those four martial disciplines, all filtered through the lens of the end show.
Yes. Resilience is built physically through the repetitive challenge of karate and the dynamic pressure testing of Krav Maga.
Right.
Inner strength comes from the breathing, the centering, and the self-regulation taught through Sistema and Tai Chi.
And lifelong learning.
It's inherent,
Yep.
because with this complex blend, mastery is always just beyond your reach, which ensures you're continuously engaged.
So the whole center is built on this mature, deep philosophy. It's designed to cultivate psychological fortitude first, and it uses the physical techniques as the most demanding proving ground for that mental strength.
That's a perfect way to put it.
And this foundational perspective, it must completely reframe how they approach their programs for the different age groups.
It changes everything.
So let's move from that abstract philosophy to the concrete application. Let's look at the kids' karate program.
Right.
This is where that core philosophy is distilled into specific, measurable developmental outcomes for children from pre-K all the way through their teenage years.
And the primary stated goals for this age group are almost entirely focused on executive function and social skills.
So not about fighting.
Not primarily.
Mm-mm.
It's discipline, focus, confidence, and leadership. And that's a critical distinction from the adult goals.
Mm.
For children, the martial arts curriculum is designed to plug the gaps in the traditional educational system, focusing on skills essential for academic success and healthy socialization.
Okay, let's delve into the mechanism of how these skills are cultivated.
Yeah.
I mean, discipline and focus often feel like really abstract concepts for a 6-year-old.
They are.
So how does the dojo environment make them tangible and learnable?
It's the structured ritual. Discipline gets internalized through the constant requirement to follow protocol.
Like bowing.
Bowing when entering the mat, standing still while listening to the instructor, maintaining the uniform. These rituals introduce structure and predictability into what can be a child's often chaotic world.
Okay.
And then the practice of kata, or prearranged forms, demands intense focus. A child has to memorize a long sequential set of movements and execute them with precision and power.
And the beauty of the kata is that the outcome is immediate and visible, isn't it?
Mm.
The child knows instantly if they made a mistake or if they executed the form correctly.
Exactly. That immediate feedback loop is absolutely crucial for training focus. They are forced to be present for the full 30 or 60 seconds of that form, which gradually extends their attention span, a skill that's increasingly rare in the digital age.
I can see that. And confidence then just builds naturally as they achieve rank.
It does. The tangible progress of earning belts is a powerful, visible, psychological reward for effort. It teaches them that hard work yields measurable results.
And leadership is the capstone to all of this. How does a child transition from just learning discipline to actually demonstrating leadership within this supportive environment?
Leadership emerges through responsibility.
Wow.
As a student advances in rank, they're expected to model correct behavior for the newer or younger students. They might be asked to help demonstrate a technique or guide a small group through a warm-up.
So it shifts their perspective.
It shifts their perspective from just receiving instruction to actively supporting the community. It reinforces that community-centered aspect of the center's mission. They become mentors in a really low-stakes environment.
The sources explicitly suggest the dojo is an extension of the educational process.
It is.
The physical engagement, the movement, the intensity, the balance work, it enhances the mental engagement and cognitive development they need for school.
And all of this development is nurtured within a very carefully constructed environment. It's described as a positive, structured, and supportive culture.
Right.
And for a developing mind, that structure and predictability, combined with positive reinforcement, it creates a psychologically safe space for experimentation and, crucially, for failure.
Why is that safe space for failure so essential in martial arts?
Because failure is constant.
Hook culture, right.
Martial arts is the art of correcting mistakes.
Yeah.
You spend most of your time correcting your posture, your footwork, your timing.
Mhm.
If the environment is punitive or discouraging, the child internalizes that failure as a personal flaw and they just shut down.
But if it's supportive,
If the environment is supportive and positive, the child internalizes failure as temporary feedback, which directly builds resilience, one of those core philosophical pillars.
and the center being recognized for its character-driven approach to teaching and leadership building just confirms that intentional design.
Absolutely.
Now, let's transition to what I think are the truly insightful logistical details that make this program a case study in practical integration,
The after-school program.
the after-school program. This addresses a major logistical barrier for modern families, just
Yeah.
the sheer scarcity of time.
This is such a critical detail for the listener to grasp. It signals that Centerpoint understands that in modern family life, a child's enrichment activity cannot be an additional stressor.
Right. It has to be integrated.
Seamlessly. This isn't just a 45-minute class, it's part of a comprehensive solution for a full afternoon.
And the program combines the martial arts training with academic support and other enrichment activities. Let's explore that synergy.
Well, by folding in dedicated academic support, time set aside for homework, they eliminate the conflict between training and school obligations.
So the parent doesn't have to fight with the kid to finish their math after a long day.
Exactly. It reinforces the idea that structure and discipline apply equally to the dojo and the desk.
And they expand the enrichment even further, listing specific non-martial arts areas:
Mm.
arts, STEM, and outdoor play.
Mm-hmm.
That combination suggests they are truly aiming for a holistic, balanced child development plan.
Is the definition of balance. They're counterbalancing the high-intensity physical discipline of karate with intellectual development from STEM,
Analytical thinking.
creativity from the arts, which relates right back to the INSA philosophy,
Right.
and necessary free movement from outdoor play. They understand a student needs to be able to shift cognitive gears effectively, from focused intensity to playful exploration.
Now, for the services that demonstrate what I think is an unparalleled commitment to removing parental friction,
Yeah, these are incredible.
we have the school pickup service
Yeah.
and the uniform laundry service.
Logistically, these two services are game changers. The school pickup eliminates the necessity for the working parent to navigate that afternoon school traffic rush.
A massive time and stress saver.
Huge. The center just assumes responsibility for the safe, seamless transition of the child from the academic day to the discipline day.
And the uniform laundry service. I mean, that strikes at the heart of daily friction points.
Yeah.
Why is that specific, seemingly minor detail so critical to the success of the whole program?
Because consistency is the engine of discipline.
Okay.
Any small hurdle that makes consistent attendance difficult will eventually cause a dropout. Think about the parent rushing home, realizing the uniform is damp or dirty, and having to manage that hygiene task late at night.
It's one more thing to do.
It's one more thing. The laundry service removes the friction of hygiene and preparedness entirely. It allows the parent to focus only on the benefits of the program, seeing their child more focused and confident, and it removes the maintenance workload.
So it effectively elevates the martial arts program from just a typical extracurricular to a high-end, highly functional, educational, and logistical partner for the family.
Engineered for maximum consistency and ease of use.
This operational efficiency, which, we might trace back to the no-nonsense practicality of the Krav Maga influence on management,
I think so.
it's a direct factor in the child's long-term success. If it's easy to attend, they attend more often.
And if they attend more often, they gain focus and discipline more quickly. The logistical services are an unsung tool for character development.
Okay, let's pivot now. Let's talk about the adults. The transition in focus here is really stark.
It is.
The child's goals were developmental. The adult's goals are focused on maintenance and functional coping mechanisms.
Right. For the adult martial arts and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or BJJ, programs, the explicit benefits listed target the immediate pressures of modern professional life.
The focus moves sharply from character building to, what, character maintenance?
Character maintenance and practical survival against the persistent stressors of the modern world. The key benefits listed are fitness, stress relief, personal safety, and confidence building.
Okay, fitness is straightforward,
Mm.
though I'd argue martial arts offers a more comprehensive workout than a lot of gym routines. But let's zero in on stress relief, because this is perhaps the most sought-after benefit for our listener profile. For an adult professional, what specific neurological process does throwing a punch or grappling trigger that, say, running on a treadmill just doesn't?
The difference is the element of active cognitive engagement combined with fight or flight training.
Okay.
When you're jogging, your mind is free to wander back to your deadlines, your bills, your digital stressors. That chronic low-grade anxiety is still active in the background.
Martial arts forces a different kind of engagement.
It forces a complete mental reboot. When you're engaged in sparring or a complicated kata or a BJJ roll, you are performing immediate, high-stakes threat assessment and problem solving.
So you can't be thinking about anything else.
You can't. This activity demands 100% of your cognitive and physical attention, effectively hijacking the prefrontal cortex that manages that abstract, persistent worry. By forcing the brain to solve an immediate physical problem, you achieve a clean break, a complete neurological reset from the persistent cognitive stress of the daily grind. It's an active form of meditation enforced by physical necessity.
It sounds a lot like stress inoculation.
It is.
You're training the body and mind to function optimally under peak physical and cognitive duress, which then makes the less intense stress of the office feel more manageable.
That's precisely what the blend of Systema and Krav Maga offers for adults. Systema teaches you to monitor your tension, to breathe and move efficiently when you're under pressure.
And Krav Maga.
Krav Maga puts you under that realistic pressure. The combination means you gain tools to regulate your central nervous system when you're faced with either a physical threat or, say, a highly demanding corporate negotiation.
And that forced focus on technique is where the specialized Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program really shines, doesn't it? Particularly for the adult population who may not be as physically robust as they were in their 20s.
Absolutely. BJJ is globally recognized because it shifts the paradigm from size and strength to leverage, timing, and positional geometry. It's an intellectual martial art.
A thinking person's game.
It is, and this technical focus makes high-level, practical self-defense accessible to adults across a wide range of ages, sizes, and athletic capabilities.
Can you give us an accessible analogy for why leverage works so well against raw strength in BJJ?
Sure. Think of the classic physics principle of the lever and fulcrum.
Okay.
If you try to lift a heavy rock by applying direct strength, you'll fail. But if you place a strong bar, the lever under the rock, and find the right pivot point, the fulcrum, you can move an object many times your weight with minimal effort.
And BJJ techniques are basically that.
There are essentially hundreds of ways to apply leverage, using joints, bones, even clothing as levers and fulcrums to control or submit an opponent.
So an adult who is maybe heavier but less explosive than a younger opponent can rely on technique and geometry to control the situation. And that feeds directly into the adult goals of personal safety and confidence building.
Absolutely. The confidence you gain isn't from the ability to hit harder, but from the intellectual certainty that you understand the principles of human movement and physics well enough to manage a threat using technique. That knowledge is deeply confidence-boosting regardless of your physical condition.
And we mentioned Andy's background, blending hard striking skills like karate and Krav Maga with the internal arts like Tai Chi and Systema. For the adult, this means they have a genuinely holistic toolkit. They can use BJJ for grappling, Krav Maga for situational awareness, and then rely on the internal arts for recovery and chronic pain management.
It creates a well-rounded system where the individual can select the pathway that suits their current needs.
So an older adult could just focus on Tai Chi.
An older adult might focus heavily on the balance and joint health benefits of Tai Chi, while a young professional might dive into BJJ for high-intensity fitness and a competitive outlet.
Right.
The common thread is that the system ensures they're practicing functional longevity alongside immediate self-defense.
Let's deepen the discussion on the psychological aspect. That structured, positive environment of the dojo, the sanctuary concept, it seems vital for managing the external pressures of work and digital life.
It's huge. In a world characterized by relentless change and unpredictability, a well-run dojo offers a psychological haven that's defined by rigid, predictable rules.
Right.
The belt system provides clear, attainable paths for progression. The instruction is structured, the feedback is constructive.
And that framework, where effort directly translates into measurable reward, it must provide an essential sense of control and grounding that's often missing in the corporate world.
Exactly. The dojo restores that fundamental psychological mechanism that hard work pays off, and it does so consistently.
Now, this all relies on the adult being able to consistently attend. And we noted the operational hours, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
This logistical planning is just as important as the curriculum itself. That 7 a.m. start time means a professional can incorporate high-intensity, stress-relieving training before their workday officially begins.
So they're setting the tone for the day.
They are deliberately setting the emotional and physical tone for the day, maximizing the benefits of that neurological reset before they even open their inbox.
And crucially, that pre-work routine is often easier to maintain than trying to squeeze in training after a long day when your energy and your willpower are just depleted.
Yes. And for those who can't train in the morning, the 7 p.m. closure accommodates the traditional 9 to 5 worker who needs to attend to evening childcare or family duties.
Right.
It ensures they have that entire evening window for necessary decompression time and training. This broad, flexible schedule directly addresses the #1 barrier to adult commitment, scheduling conflicts.
So it reinforces that lifelong learning commitment by making it logistically possible to maintain consistency across professional demands and family obligations. They've engineered the schedule to maximize showing up.
That's right. So, whether you're trying to instill focus in your child through structure or reclaim focus for yourself as an adult drowning in digital noise and deadlines, the operational architecture of this specific martial arts center is designed to support that goal across the lifespan. They address the developmental need with curriculum and the logistical need with convenience.
We've established the philosophical depth of the training and the convenience of the logistics. Now let's look outward. The philosophy of the INSO and the focus on inner strength suggest a benefit that extends beyond the individual and the immediate family unit. The sources detail the center's commitment to community involvement.
And this is the final and crucial test of the philosophy's authenticity. The center actively supports local schools, nonprofits, and small businesses.
Okay.
This is where the application of inner strength is translated into tangible civic engagement. If the center truly teaches character, that character has to be applied externally to improve the local environment.
Why is this community focus so essential for the students, though? Isn't the point of martial arts to focus inward on personal mastery?
The focus on personal mastery is the prerequisite, but true mastery is demonstrated through contribution.
Ah, I see.
If students are taught resilience and leadership inside the dojo, those skills must manifest as active citizenship. The community engagement reinforces the idea that the power and discipline gained are not for personal isolation, but for service and betterment.
So it prevents the development of ego.
Exactly. Ego or isolation that can be associated with intense individual pursuits. The learning is meant to be applied externally, improving the shared environment.
So it ensures that the pursuit of skill is always grounded in a local ethical context. This brings us right back to the overarching mission pillar of lifelong learning.
It does.
We've discussed consistency, let's discuss transference.
This is the synthesis of everything we've covered. Lifelong learning in this context means the principles learned are not confined to the mat. They are transferable skills that apply continuously, regardless of age or profession. It's not about maintaining the physical ability to kick high forever, but about maintaining the psychological tools for self-management.
Okay, let's break down those transferable skills. Let's connect them directly to the professional world our listener profile inhabits. How does training relate to, say, project management or executive decision-making?
Well, take the discipline gained from consistent practice and repetitive training, like kata. This translates directly into better work habits and structured project management. You learn to break down a complex, daunting movement into small, repeatable steps.
And that mental model.
That mental model sequence, repetition, refinement, is the exact mechanism for approaching a large, complex business project or an academic thesis. The structure of the dojo teaches you how to structure your own cognitive process.
And the resilience built by overcoming physical challenges. Struggling to learn a new BJJ submission, getting tired during sparring, or failing repeatedly to execute a Krav Maga defense.
That translates into cognitive perseverance.
Okay.
It's the refusal to give up on a difficult professional problem or a tricky coding issue simply because the initial attempts failed. You train the psychological muscle that recognizes failure as necessary feedback, not a stopping point.
The structured pressure environment prepares you for the high-stakes, real-world pressures of demanding careers.
It does.
So whether it's a child gaining the focused attention needed to sit still in school, or an adult seeking stress relief from a high-stakes job, the consistent thread is the pursuit of inner strength.
Right.
Which truly is the definition of a lifelong journey.
And this journey is operationally supported by the unique structure we analyzed. The logistical ease of the after-school program ensures the child stays consistent.
And the flexible adult hours ensure the working professional can stay consistent.
Exactly. Consistency is the primary engine of successful lifelong learning, and this entire center is designed to maximize that engine's efficiency.
So the physical techniques, therefore, are merely the vehicle. They're the demanding, tangible mechanism for imparting the greater mental and moral lessons.
That's it. The blend of techniques, the karate structure, Krav Maga practicality, system of fluidity, Tai Chi internal focus, It gives them every necessary tool to address the psychological challenges inherent in every single stage of life.
So it creates this powerful, comprehensive model for structured personal development that transcends the age groups.
And ensures that the student is always challenged, always supported, and always connected back to the fundamental principles of discipline and community.
That is a deep look at how a single institution can perfectly align its profound philosophical principles drawn from thousands of years of tradition with its highly practical, modern program delivery to support holistic well-being from pre-K well into active adulthood.
hmm
So let's quickly summarize the two key takeaways from this extensive deep dive into Centerpoint's model.
Let's do it.
First, I think we established that martial arts benefits are meticulously age-dependent. They target foundational character development for the young and psychological maintenance, fitness, and functional safety for adults.
And second, our final synthesis emphasizes that rare, necessary balance found in the source. You have the blend of profoundly experienced leadership, 30 plus years, across four distinct complementary martial arts with modern, practical program logistics.
Right, from academic support in the afternoon to the accessible technicality of BJJ.
And those incredible high-value convenience services like school pickup, the entire center is engineered for successful, long-term, stress-free participation.
So you now have the knowledge shortcut. You understand the architecture of an effective modern martial arts program that's designed to not only teach physical skills, but to support varied, demanding modern lifestyles. It's a compelling blueprint for maximizing human potential and maintaining psychological equilibrium across the lifespan.
And before we close, we want to return to that guiding symbol for a final provocative thought, the and so. We focused intensely on the benefits of fitness, focus, and safety. But let's remember, it also explicitly represents creativity alongside mindfulness and enlightenment.
We did discuss how structure leads to creative problem solving on the mat.
We did.
But given that the training forces you to be present, to manage your own frustration, and to consistently break down complex movements into smaller, executable steps,
Yeah.
how might this physical and mental regimen foster greater creative breakthroughs in fields completely outside of the dojo?
Well, think about the moment a professional is creatively blocked at work, staring at a blank screen or a seemingly unsolvable business crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That ability to enter a flow state, to accept necessary failure, and to apply patterned, structured thinking, all skills trained rigorously on the mat, must inevitably translate into better, more innovative solutions in their academic or professional pursuits.
So the dedicated engine for enhancing generalized cognitive flexibility.
And creative output in all areas of life.
It's the ultimate payoff of inner strength. Not just being tough, but being adaptable and creatively resilient.
Exactly.
Something for you to mull over until our next deep dive.
Until then, keep training the mind.
And keep diving deep.
All right, welcome. Today, we're going to break down an absolutely brilliant example of how to build community partnerships. We're actually going to use a real-world proposal as our guide, kind of peek behind the curtain to uncover the secrets of a truly successful pitch. So, how do you build a great partnership? I mean, it's a question so many of us face, right? Whether you're in business, running a nonprofit, or maybe just trying to get a local community group off the ground. How do you go from just having an idea to building a really strong, collaborative relationship? Well, that's what we're here to do. We're going to deconstruct a blueprint for success. We'll be looking at this amazing proposal from a group called Centerpoint Martial Arts. And by taking it apart, piece by piece, you'll see exactly what makes it tick. And more importantly, how you can use these same ideas yourself. Okay, so let's get into it. The very first thing you notice, and this is so important, is that their proposal doesn't just jump into the what, like class schedules or pricing. Nope. It starts with the why. And that's such a classic, powerful move, right? Leading with your purpose. It builds that instant connection. That's the foundation for everything else. Just look at how they frame their mission here. This one sentence, it's about so much more than just kicking and punching. It immediately creates this emotional hook by focusing on a much bigger purpose. We're talking personal growth and community. It sends a clear message to any potential partner, hey, we're not just a gym, we're a place for real transformation. And then they do something really smart. They use a visual to back it up. They bring in this powerful, elegant symbol, the ENSO. It's a hand-drawn circle from Zen Buddhism that represents this ongoing journey, this quest for balance and self-discovery. It's like a visual anchor for their whole mission, and it just adds this incredible layer of depth right from the get-go. Then, they really lock in that feeling of trust with these 3 guiding principles: safe, structured, and inclusive. And you can tell this isn't just a list of corporate buzzwords, you know? Each word promises a very specific kind of environment. So before a partner even gets to the programs, they already have a gut feeling for what Centerpoint is all about and the kind of experience they're going to provide. Okay, so having a powerful why is fantastic, but it's really only half the battle. The next step, and it's a crucial one, is connecting that big vision to the tangible what. I mean, a great mission statement doesn't mean a thing if you can't show people how you actually bring it to life, right? So let's take a look at how they do exactly that with their programs. And here we go. They lay out their 3 core programs, super simple and easy to digest. You've got kids karate, an after-school program, and then adult martial arts. But notice what's happening here. They're serving the entire community, from little pre-K kids all the way up to adults. This isn't just a karate school for one age group. It's a real community hub. Now, they really lean into that community hub idea, especially with their after-school program. See, they don't just say they have one. They show you exactly why theirs is different. And this table does it perfectly. Look at this. Academic support? Yes. Creative stuff like arts and STEM? Yep. School pickup? Check. They even, get this, do uniform laundry. It's not just childcare. It's a complete, super thoughtful solution for busy families. All right, and this next part, this is where the whole proposal pivots. It moves from talking about what they do to what we can do together. And honestly, this is the most critical part of any pitch. It's where you shift the focus to that mutual benefit. It answers the one question that's always on a potential partner's mind. Okay, that's great, but what's in it for me? And boom. This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? It perfectly visualizes that win-win. It makes it crystal clear that this is not a one-way street. They're not just coming with their hand out. For every single thing Centerpoint offers, there is a direct, tangible gain for the partner. And that feeling, that makes this partnership feel not just like a nice idea, but absolutely essential. So now we get to the big finale, right? The ask. But again, pay close attention to how they do it. The whole proposal is designed to make that next step, saying yes, or at least let's talk, feel super simple and totally low risk. It's just a masterstroke in communication. See, instead of one single rigid demand like, give us money, they offer this, a flexible menu of ideas. This is just brilliant. It's not a take it or leave it situation. It's an invitation to have a creative conversation. It lets a partner look at this list and think, oh, you know what, we could definitely do that one. It gives them multiple ways to get on board at all different levels. And this line right here, this is the clincher. These are simply starting points. That little phrase does so much work. It immediately frames them as adaptable collaborators, not just some vendor trying to sell a package deal. It signals, hey, we're ready to listen. Let's build something cool and unique together. It makes the potential partner feel heard and valued right from the jump. So after breaking all that down, what can we learn from this amazing blueprint? Let's boil this whole strategy down into a clear, simple playbook that you can literally use for your own projects. So here it is, your 5-step playbook. Step 1, lead with your mission, that why that builds the connection. Step 2, show, don't just tell. Connect that philosophy to real, concrete programs. Step 3, you've got to frame the win-win. Show the mutual benefits, nice and clear. Step 4, offer flexible options. Make it easy for them to say yes to a conversation. And finally, step 5, invite collaboration. Position yourself as a partner, not a vendor. I mean, if you follow these steps, you can really transform any pitch into a powerful invitation. And really, the big takeaway here is that these principles, they're not just for a martial arts school, right? This is a universal blueprint. It can be used by anyone, anywhere, to build something stronger together. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? What partnership could your community build?